Good morning from the Glyman kitchen. This morning I want to share a Bible verse with you that comes from Peter's writings. It's his second letter in the 3rd chapter, and he says, "With the Lord, a day is like 1,000 years, and 1,000 years are like a day." It's kind of hard for us to wrap our hearts and minds around that sometimes, I think. But there's an old joke that kind of helps me. You've probably heard this before, but we'll give it a shot. So there's this guy, and he decides he's gonna talk to God. And he doesn't know if God will answer, but he's just like, "God, you're great, you're huge, you're awesome, and I'll bet that like 1,000 years to you is no more than like a second." And God answers, and he says, "You're absolutely right." The guy's amazed that God's talking to him, and he says, "In the universe, I mean, it's huge to me, and I'm just a speck of dust in the universe, but to you, the universe probably is just like a speck of dust." And God again says, "You're right." So then he's thinking, he says, "So, I mean, you're rich, God, you have everything. So, I mean, what's $1 million to you? I'll bet it's no more than a penny." And God says, "You're right." Then he gets an idea. He says, "God, I was wondering, could I have a penny?" And God says, "Yes, just a second." I like that joke, but I like the fact that God is involved in the details. And that's what it means to me when I read this verse. Yeah, that a small or big expanse of time is short to God, but it also means that a day has so much in it. There's so much detail. And that's what I'm starting to hear from people. I heard Dion Miller, who's a reporter, sports reporter for Channel 7, and she was saying what a blessing it is to be home with her family. I've heard that from numerous people. One of the things that I like to do is, well, over the years I've run quite a bit, and I bike quite a bit. And one of the things that I'll come home and I'll tell Heidi is that when you bike or you run, you see things that you don't see when you're out in a car. All sorts of things, detail. Well, in more recent times, I've been walking a lot, and there's all kinds of things that you see that you wouldn't see otherwise. Heidi and I were out hiking around Rice Lake in the Donata area, which in and of itself is really impressive that Heidi, of her own volition, is going out for a hike. It might be a sign of the impending apocalypse, but we'll just have to see. But she noticed these plants growing, and she thought, "Are these hostas?" And she took a picture. She said, "They're not," but she said, "I want to come back and see what they look like." I just loved that. You know, this is a glass that I got in Kenya in 2007. If you come to my house and I offer this to you, it means you're my friend. These are my favorite glasses. They're hand-etched. But the other morning I was sitting in the sunroom, and the sun hit it at such an angle that I saw something I'd never seen before. The artist actually signed it and then dated it. It says 2006. I've had this for 13 years, but I never noticed that. This is a season where we can slow down and we can appreciate the small things. Because I believe every day God is weaving a tapestry, a mosaic, and so often we don't see it. I pray today that you might see the fingerprints of God, the minutia of detail, that you might see that He's in it. I think that's such a blessing when we can slow down and recognize that God's in the details. One final thought. Mother Teresa said something along these lines. We're not all called to do great things, but we're all called to do simple things with great love. God bless you. Have a great day.